welcome to Cory's Stories. Are you ready to meditate with Cory?
Hello, my little friends. I just wanted to take a quick minute before your meditation story to say hi and thank you, and I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for listening to my stories. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and like your meditation or your video if you liked it, and make sure to press the bell so that you get notified every time I bring out a new story. One last thing. If you love Heidi, Cherry and VAYA or Tucker and Leo stories, you can join the cat club or the dog club. Go to my Patreon link down below. I leave it there on every meditation. Talk to your parents or your guardians about whether you can join my Patreon group. Hope you have a wonderful time listening to my story. Bye. See you next time.
Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Make sure that you're all comfortable and warm and snug in your bed, that the light is just right in your room, and you can relax your body and let go of your busy day. Once you've made sure that everything feels just right in your body so that you can be comfortable, take a nice, big, deep breath in all the way down to your tummy. Breathe it out nice and slow. Once again, the biggest, deepest breath all the way down into your tummy. Deep, deep down. Then breathe it out nice and slow. You can start to imagine this with your eyes open as you lay down in bed, or you can close your eyes and imagine it in your mind. Either way, imagine that you were laying in bed inside of a tent. And when you looked up at the ceiling, using your imagination, pretend that you can see the left side of the tent and the right side of the tent, right there over your head. Imagine that the tent is blue, like a dark blue. You can see the pole running down the middle of the tent. And then if you look forward, imagine that you can see the front of the tent and there's a zip running down the middle that lets you in and outside of your tent. On this particular day, you're inside of your tent because it's raining and it's windy and cold outside. And as you lay down in your comfortable bed inside of your tent, you can hear the rain dripping on the roof, making lots of really nice pitter-patter sounds. You can see that the roof of your tent is wet and it's bowed in just a little bit from the weight of the rain. But luckily it's waterproof, so it's keeping you safe and dry and warm inside. And as the wind blows outside, the sides of your tent and the roof of your tent make a rustling sound as the plastic material moves and shakes a little bit because of the wind. Imagine that you're camping out in the wilderness. You're being like a brave explorer, backpacking, and you found a place in the forest that looked like a nice place to set up your tent and stay. Really, in your mind, you can imagine that your tent is on the back garden of your home, and your mum and dad or your guardians aren't far away, so you're not scared at all. You feel very safe. But in your mind, you can imagine that you're an explorer, and you're out there traveling the world, going on different backpacking adventures, setting up your tent wherever you feel like you want to lay your head. This is a quiet forest. There's no one else around. And there's a stream close by, and you can hear the water whooshing and splashing and making lots of noise. That's one of the reasons that you pitched your tent here, because you like the sound of the water. You like to be out there in nature. It makes you feel connected and happy. But right now, you're so grateful that you're in this warm, dry tent, snuggled in your sleeping bag with your fluffy socks on and your comfy sweats. You're also wearing a knitted hat, so your head is nice and warm. So it could be blustering snow out there, and you'd still be safe and warm inside in your tent. Your favorite part about this tent is that it has a plastic window on the left side, and you can see the night sky through it. It's a full moon outside, so it's shining bright, and there's loads and loads of stars in the sky twinkling above you. Because you're out in the wilderness, there's not so much smog in the air, so you can see the stars really clearly. That's your favorite part about camping. The sky at night. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you see shooting stars flying by in the sky. That makes you wonder what it would feel like to fly on a shooting star. You see yourself in your mind wearing an astronaut's outfit, all silver and shiny, with a helmet. And you've got those funny moon boots on, as if you had been walking on the moon. And there you are, as if you're backpacking on a horse, but you're not, you're on a star, and you're screaming, flying through the sky as fast as a star could fly, which is probably really, really fast when you think about it. And then you think about one of your friends doing the same thing, maybe your best friend, and they're flying through the sky on a star, and you wave at each other as if to say, "Oh, hi! What are you doing here?" Can you imagine that in your mind, your best friend flying next to you on another star, shooting through the sky as fast as stars do that? You imagine that you're flying towards the moon. And when you get there, you jump off your star, and so does your friend. Little does anyone know down here below, but the moon is like another planet, and it has cities and towns and busy, buzzing streets with spacecraft flying around all over the place. It's as if the planet is hundreds of years in the future. Everyone wears grav boots, the gravitational boots that help them fly, but also help them to land and stay grounded on the ground when they need to be. So everyone just flies around in the sky like Mary Poppins. And it isn't like Earth where everyone looks different, and races are mixed, and people come in all different shapes and sizes. Earth and the moon are very different. Life on the moon, wow. Everyone has different coloured hair. Red hair, blue hair, black hair, gold hair, green hair. And depending what colour your hair is, depends on what race you are, who you belong with. Kind of like a casting system. A casting system is when different people tend to just belong to their own group. The groups don't mix with other groups. They tend to keep to their own colour. This feels very unusual. But also at the same time, if you were used to flying up to the moon on a shooting star, then this is probably something that you would be used to. When you take your helmet off, you notice that your hair is your colour, your particular colour. Then you know that you belong in that group. So you can imagine whatever colour hair you want right now if you let yourself. Maybe you're blue or a green or a black or a gold or whatever you are. And then maybe what would be fun is you could just hop a ride on a different shooting star and go somewhere completely different. Maybe you could go to Mars. That would be fun. Or Pluto. Or maybe you could go to Jupiter. And each planet has a different way of being and a different way of living. And you get to know them all because you're this great explorer. Not only do you explore Earth and the forests and different places in nature, you also explore the cosmos and the sky. An out-of-space traveler. And all the while this is happening, you're safe and warm in your bed. The wind and the rain are still pouring and blowing outside. But your tent keeps you nice and dry and safe. What if there's bears in this forest? Or maybe squirrels, which would be worse. 10 million squirrels or one big hairy bear. If 10 million squirrels were climbing all over my tent, would that be worse than a growling, scary grizzly bear? I think I would take 10 million squirrels. What would you do? But remember, you're safe in your tent, so this is just a theory. There's no bears or squirrels where you are. And maybe this tent is not only waterproof, but critter-proof, animal-proof. So if animals go anywhere near your tent, mechanical arms reach out and tickle them to the point where They have to run away because if they laugh anymore, they'd probably pee their pants. Yeah, that would be good. So no animals come anywhere near your tent. You're nice and safe and warm. What if my tent decides to slide away because there's so much rain and it creates a river underneath the tent because the earth is sloppy and wet and slippy? And then it's like a slip and slide, and I'm sliding through the forest, going down the hills as fast as the tent would possibly go. That could actually be fun, thinking about it. Like river rafting, but in a tent. And maybe you pull down the zipper and look out and see your friend over in their tent doing the same thing. River rafting, but mudsliding. You're mudsliding together in your tents. You're having a pretty good time. Dodging all the trees. Following the current. Just allowing the water and the crazy rafting to take you wherever you wanted to go. Maybe you'd end up in the desert. That would be definitely not wet. It would be very, very dry in the desert. Dry and hot and muggy. And you'd want to get out of your tent and get some fresh air. Go and explore, or maybe meet a camel. That would be nice. Unless it's one of those camels that kind of get angry and slaver and spit. I don't think I'd like that very much. But if it was a nice, warm, friendly camel, that would be good. Maybe you could do like a camel ride. You and your best friend on 2 camels, crossing the desert together. Exploring in another way. How many things could you think of as you lay in your tent? Relaxing more and more. Use your imagination and see where it takes you. Nighty-night, sweetie. Hope you have good dreams.